ンジ君。
For every new season of anime to debut, there is always a standout character, usually female, that becomes the current obsession of the fanbase. The character currently occupying that spot is Makima from the series Chainsaw Man. This comes as no surprise, as Fujimoto, the series creator, designed Makima with specific qualities to add to her appeal, even confessing that she was the first character he designed for the series. She has a certain control over the male audience, as it were, but I couldn't help but feel a sense of familiarity when seeing her interact with series protagonist Denji. This inspired me to dig a bit deeper into what exactly it is that gives her character this mystique, and I may have found my answer. In this stage of the story, Makima represents an ideal, almost motherly figure as both an object of affection and a muse from which to draw inspiration and strength from. She embodies an aspect of romanticism not typically displayed in popular media, that being devotion. It was from this revelation that I understood where this sense of familiarity came from. I felt the same way while reading through a different series named Sundome. There is no shortage of romantic stories in the landscape of media, ranging from sappy and heartwarming to bittersweet and heartbreaking. But there aren't many that approach it in the same way that Sundome does. Sundome is an adult manga series in which the title translates to stopping right before, in reference to the sex act known as edging. No sex acts are explicitly shown, although they are heavily implied. But despite using its sexual imagery as its main draw, underneath it is a very endearing story about love, devotion, and the effect it can have on people lucky enough to experience it. The manga starts by introducing us to the main character, Hideo. As these stories usually start, he's an unassuming high schooler, part of a club for the outcasts of the school. He spends his time aimlessly moving through his days until a new student, the female protagonist Kurumi, transfers to his class. He is immediately smitten with her, and after some charged and awkward interactions, they happen upon a chance to be alone. To his surprise, she offers him a proposition. She will stay by his side, but in exchange, she will never allow him to feel pleasure. Hideo accepts these terms without hesitation, and so their journey begins. Now I know what you might be thinking. In normal circumstances, it would be insane to agree to something like that within the same day of meeting a stranger. As unrealistic as it sounds, Hideo has solid reasoning behind it. In the first chapter, he proclaims that he's never fallen in love with someone at first sight until he saw Kurumi. The way that she smells, the complexion of her skin, even the innocent aura she gives off are immensely attractive to him. From their very first meeting, he was inspired to change himself for the better just for the opportunity to talk to her again. And his resolve was strengthened even further when Kurumi directly challenged him in front of his peers. It may be unorthodox, but it's commendable that Hideo was so impacted by the first interaction with Kurumi that he devoted himself to improvement. As the series progresses, we get exactly that. With what appears to be punishments from Kurumi on the surface are mischievous trials to test Hideo's resolve. Hideo is aware that at any point he could walk away, or on the other hand, be abandoned by Kurumi. But at the same time, he acknowledges the progress he is making due to her presence. There were times when Kurumi denied him of his activities, only for him to substitute that action for jogging to improve his strength and stamina. In one particularly sweet interaction between the two, Kurumi jumps from the top of a ladder only to be caught by Hideo, much to her surprise. When she comments on this, Hideo innocently replies that every inch of his body is improving for her. Hideo isn't afraid to prove his devotion to Kurumi at any chance that he gets, but thankfully this extreme example is not the only instance we get to see how love and devotion can change a person in the story. Shortly after the main members of the school club are established, we are introduced to another character named Kyoko. She can be seen as the polar opposite of the club members and Kurumi's physical opposite, even down to her introduction as being threatened by Kurumi's presence. As time passes, she integrates herself into the club circle while abandoning her previous social group. Another member, Katsu, while normally the relative voice of reason for the group, becomes increasingly aware of Kyoko's presence and begins becoming infatuated with her. We see over the course of the story that his preferences begin to change towards favoring Kyoko until things take a turn for the worse. Kyoko's ex returns to use her for his own pleasure, and Katsu makes a bold decision to defend her honor. It ends badly for Katsu, but he still proclaims that he won in reference to fighting for something or someone he wanted to protect. Like Hideo, he begins a transformation from wandering aimlessly to becoming more goal-oriented and focused, with the focus being on Kyoko. She too changes after this incident, taking more notice of Katsu and becoming more reserved as a result. While their relationship is rarely at the forefront of the story, their development together is noticeable. This type of love is not immune to its more undesirable aspects, namely jealousy and possessiveness. And Sundome does a great job juxtaposing how it affects a person negatively as well. Near the midpoint of the story, Hideo begins to visit Kurumi at her apartment. She tells him that she lives alone, but during a few of his visits, he notices signs that another man is present in her life that he was not told about. From a pair of men's shoes left in her doorway to mysterious phone calls she accepts that cut into the time she and Hideo have together, he becomes increasingly suspicious that Kurumi is being unfaithful to him. We learn later in the story that this mysterious person is in fact her doctor making house visits regularly. Due to Hideo's tunnel vision, however, he can only see this man as competition for Kurumi's affection, a competition that he feels he has a large disadvantage in, even though it's completely one-sided. He acts out in various ways as futile attempts to assert himself towards the man, but is constantly rebuffed, all the while not noticing the strain he puts on his relationship with Kurumi as a result. While only 76 chapters in length, Sundome makes great use of its short time frame to showcase just how powerful love and devotion can affect a person. This is not just a story of a boy meeting a girl. This is a journey of self-improvement through altruism for Hideo, and a gesture of deep affection from Kurumi. Yes, throughout the story, Kurumi was presented in a more dominant role over Hideo, but her behavior lent itself to her ultimate goal of encouraging Hideo to continue surpassing his limits with the limited time she had left with him. It had been well over 10 years since the last time I read through and stopped right before the end, but I never forgot about the series' impact on me. The memory stayed dormant in my mind until I witnessed Makima fulfill that same role for Denji a decade later. I feel that many of us that resonated with their dynamic share the same feeling of listlessness, of drifting from one point in life to another, waiting for the next big advancement to appear. Both Makima and Kurumi embody the solution to end that state of limbo we've been waiting through: love and devotion. It can be another person, it could be a pet, an idea, or even your own self. But I challenge you to ask yourself this question: What is something in your life that you truly love? And what kind of change could you expect if you devoted yourself to it? Okay, first video done. Cool. Almost about 2 years in, but still. I really did not expect how intensive the editing process for a YouTube video is. So I have much higher respect for anybody that does this full time, especially by themselves. Anyway, I just wanted to throw in a quick afterword. Thanks for watching. Uh, do check out Sundome if you're interested. Just be forewarned that it's actually pretty heavy with the sexual imagery. It took a while to find panels that were actually safe for work, and as you saw in the video, I edited a lot of what was shown. Also, there is a pretty pronounced piss fetish in the manga. It's not a central part of the story, but it's there, and it's a little prominent. It comes up a lot, but besides that, like, it is generally a very good story. So what's next? It's probably gonna be a while before I do another essay type video, and it's definitely not gonna be another manga slideshow. It's just I felt very strongly about this topic, and this was gonna be the first try of a video that I've done. So for now, in the meantime, I'm tweaking some things. I'm learning more about how to edit and how to record and how to get things a little bit more pristine for my own liking, or up to my own standard. So it might be a while until another video is actually put out. But while you're here, do me a favor and like and subscribe to Sage's Reign, an awesome YouTuber who actually inspired this video here. Other than that, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.